all the tries from that coming up. But we're ready to get underway here at Langtree Park. The crowd late to arrive for a big game in the Super 8s. First touch of the ball for St Helens, and Luke Walsh and Greg Richards and Catalan know that they have to start with intensity as well. If Saints have got intensity, then Catalan need that in bucket loads tonight.
Yeah, and confidence is going to be the key word as well. We already know that St Helens has certainly got full of plenty of that. But this Catalan outfit, they realise that they have not been playing as a team. Far too many of their players have played one out, trying to solve the problems when they really needed teamwork and team spirit. We saw it last week. Will we see it tonight?
Jordan Turner puts the kick in. Jody Broughton retreats, and that's a good chase from the Saints to greet him just as he crosses his own 20-metre line. Ben Garcia now for the Catalan Dragons.
Interesting to see how St Helens went to Broughton's wing. Obviously they realised not to kick to the youngster Yaha. That trick last week, I must say, is in top form. He's such a huge player.
Dave Taylor appealing to referee James Child that he was impeded as he tried to get to his feet to play the ball there. Jason Baitieri plays it. Carney. Glenn Stewart now coming back infield. And Carney hoists a high kick. Lomax solid as a rock underneath that one, and Saints chancing their arm.
Well, a testing kick that time from Todd Carney to start the game. Last week, Thomas Bosch was the man who the French side relied on most for his kicks at the end of sets. Tonight, Carney and Albert will be the two probably most likely to do it. The first one was taken easy, and just look at the confidence of a side who look to attack, counter-attack on a kick taken almost underneath the goal post. That's how much St Helens have grown really as a side, with the victories behind them, and they want to attack from anywhere.
Joe Greenwood plays the ball. There is Roby, Walmsley alongside him, and Roby using the big man as a foil to reach the halfway line.
Good job that Albert was there, really alert at that. That's what we'll see from James Roby. We'll also see it from his opposite, number 16, Felicia. There's the coach, Kieran Cunningham. Midway through the season, he doesn't, not many smiles on the face, but they're back into business.
Crowds thinking they'd spotted a knock-on there as Catalan played the ball. Here's Vince Dupont now, just agreed a new 2-year deal with the Dragons. And Remy Casti on the charge. Mr. Dependable for the Perpignan club, Casti. Here is Stewart now, and Catalan looking to give the ball a bit of width. That's the fifth tackle. Garcia. The kick again hoisted, and Lomax waiting for that one.
Oh, that's dangerous. If you allow the ball to hit the ground, it can just go anywhere. They were very, very fortunate in that. Kieran Cunningham, the coach, will get the message out. Do not. You've got to get there in time. Defuse the bomb. It was a high one from Todd Carney.
Surrender!
So Saints in possession, the two sides sizing each other now. Walsh goes for a 40-20. Across comes Gigot to try and salvage it, and he'll get there in time.
Well, that's another early kick, Bill. Kick on the third there from Luke Walsh, stating his intent and his team's intent. We want to get the ball away from our own line. We saw when Carney put that bomb up, Johnny Lomax had set himself on the try line. It was about 15 metres in front of him, and nobody else wanted a bar of it.
It's Jody Broughton for the Dragons. Now David Taylor.
They need a big game from this fella. In the early part of the season, he was being tipped to be a good nomination for the Man of Steel award at the end of the season. And if he steps up to the plate, then the Dragons certainly have an opportunity to come away with a shock win tonight.
Justin Horrow played the ball, and then Casti bundling his way forward. James Child calls held. Lucas Albert puts a little kick up the middle of the field, and Carney will chase it. That's good defence on the turnover. Great work from Johnny Lomax. Great work from the Catalan Dragons halves. It nearly came off for them.
Brilliant play here, isn't it, from both sides. Look at the kick there from Lucas Alba, off the right foot, back to the centre of the field. But look, Johnny Lomax has done a remarkable job there to change direction and stop what would have been a certain try.
Set on his try line again, a little bit too far back. And the quality and the skill and the delivery and execution of these kicks really causing Saints trouble early on.
Knock on though there. Swift gets a pat on the head, a consoling pat on the head.
Yeah, just lost the control there. He tried to get a quick play the ball, trying to get on to regain his footing, but that is a big error. Big opportunity now. Now the Catalan side, they're quite easy to come out on a blindside move.
Okay, let's set up.
They'll pick the ball up from the scrum base. It'll be Pellissier.
I'll tell you when. Just wait.
Will he utilise this short blind?
Okay.
Head and feed then for the Catalan Dragons, 20 metres out. Here is Glenn Stewart. He's missed only 2 games in his debut season. Laurent Fresneau looking on as his side have the first real opportunity in this game. Well, Carney had a great opportunity, but for Lomax's tackle.
Move, goal line. Go.
Pellissier, here is Lucas Albert now. Here is Carney, coming from deep. Vincent Dupont, but Saints were waiting for him. Greenwood with the tackle, 10 metres out.
Sorry, Bill, but you spotted that. The Catalan side, they're standing very deep in the 3 quarters. They're trying to pull this St. Helens defence out.
Pellissier, short ball. Taylor with the first try of the game, or is it? Has he got that ball down?
Okay.
James Childs saying, I think it's a try. There it is, he's awarded it. And Dave Taylor, we spoke about him before the game, and his importance to the side, his contribution. Well, his first contribution is to charge onto that pass from hooker Pellissier and open the scoring here at Langtree Park.
All came about by the error from the winger Adam Swift. When you come up with an error like this with only 15 metres away from your own goal line, you're always going to be under a lot of pressure, and you don't come much stronger than this fella. You see how he took the ball behind him. He was twisting, he pirouetted through. That's a great way to avoid any defence. Good try.
8th of the season for the big man who's starting in the pack, prop. He's second row as well occasionally. Now Lucas Albert has the goal-kicking duties in the absence of Thomas Bosch. He opens up with a straightforward kick, just about bang in front of the post, and Catalan get the first points of the game. They lead by 6 points to 0.
Well, David Taylor very intelligently here. It looks a simple run, but he puts himself in between 2 defenders. Obviously, it's harder then for them to stop him. They get to the side, but with that sort of momentum and that range, almost impossible to prevent a try. And the Dragons will be happy. It was almost like a clay court tennis rally, wasn't it? End to end for the first 5 minutes until a break of serve. Adam Swift's mistake, and the Catalan Dragons have punished them.
Catalan have won each of their last 5 meetings with St Helens. That includes the home and away meetings this season, so they've got a bit of a hoodoo on this Saints side. But who do the winning today? That is the question.
Certainly is, Bill, and you know, we keep talking about that word confidence, but it can turn against you when you see some of your top players just not playing as well as we saw in the opening part of the season. And it's sort of, well, you do the work, I won't do it, then someone else try to do the work. But it looks now that they've got that team spirit, that team combination working.
Well, Steve, I want to talk to the Saints players before the match. They all talked about the 6-match winning streak they're on, being built on defences who see a good kick, although Tony Gigot not happy that the ball's just drifted off the pitch.
Meanwhile, as we wait for this scrum to form, action, I think, at the Mendehoes jungle. Ben Pro.
That's right, Bill, and Castleford have hit the front early on. 9 minutes gone here, and a sensational try from Dennis Solomona. They shifted the ball to the left-hand side in lightning quick, and Dennis Solomona, Super League's leading try scorer, with his 29th of the season. Castleford lead 4-0.
No wonder Dennis Solomona is highly prized, and no wonder the Castleford Tigers were very keen to point out this week that he's not going anywhere. Todd Carney Thankfully, he's back on his feet. The veteran Catalan Dragons physio, Jean-Claude Pignol, just having a check. John Wells joined by the John Wilkin or Todd Carney later on.
Well, we're going to see a good kicking duel. Todd Carney and Luke Walsh have already shown their hand. They've already showed that field position is imperative in this game, but also the defence of your own line. Saints have failed on the first occasion, but those victories, and particularly when you look at Warrington last week, Wigan the week before, only 4 tries conceded. So defence will win big games, and also your discipline. Remy Casti and some of his teammates offside, and James Child blows his whistle.
First penalty of the game then goes in favour of St Helens.
And what a season this guy's having, Joe Greenwood. Really will be a thorn in the side of the Catalan outfit.
Walmsley now. Saints advancing up the field. Here's Wilkin, Walsh, Greenwood. Good tackle from Dupont.
Was it ever? Took ball and all. Greenwood looked up and said, was that a forward?
Wilkin, Walmsley quickly on to the big prop forward, but again the defence is good. Again it's led by Glenn Stewart, the Dragons' top tackler. Turner now, Turner with the short ball. Louis McCarthy scars, but gritting his teeth under pressure. Roby down the short side, puts a little grubber kick in, just too strong.
Idea was great, wonderful play by the hooker James Roby, but you could see it was just a little bit too strong. He'd had the opportunity, it was a set pattern move.
Well, the Dragons found themselves under pressure there because of that penalty they conceded. If you think back to the last time they played in the United Kingdom, they lost heavily at Widnes, and the biggest problem was the mistakes they made dropping the ball and the penalties they conceded. The Vikings were helped in that match so often by gaining ground and getting good opportunity to attack because of ill discipline from this French side. If they can reduce the number of penalties conceded, they stand a much better chance of being successful this season.
They do seem to have a problem with that occasionally, as Albert again drills a kick in and Lomax retrieves it 10 metres out. Look at that, cornered by the Dragons he was.
Yeah, pretty good. No less than 6 players was hunting the full back down, and oh, they've got to be a little bit careful from this. There's quite a few of them not even looking at the official, James Child. It's one thing being enthusiastic, but when you get over the top and you just lose the marbles, and that's what's happened. It's out wide. They're not looking at the official.
Well, Steve-O, the coach and the players have talked about this game being a desperate game. They need to win this, and that emotion needs to be controlled, because if it's directed in the wrong way, it could end up being penalties, losing your composure, making rash decisions. And we've seen in the opening 12 minutes, when they've got the fundamentals of the game, they look dangerous.
Joe Greenwood looks dangerous. Oh, Lomax couldn't take the pass. It was low down. Too low for Lomax.
Golden opportunity there. They had the overlap as well. You could see there Lomax came just a little bit too late. The pass was not good. That's the impact, and if you can twist and turn, or if he'd have taken that, you could see there that the defence at the Catalan were all over the shop. They had a 3-on-1.
Well, the game's all about numbers and angles, Mike. You just mentioned there were 3-on-1. The Dragons were trying to address that, the fact that they were short on one side of the field. They had created an overlap, but they didn't exploit it.
But a warning there for the Catalan Dragons, because Joe Greenwood exploited it. And if Lomax had taken that pass, then it could have turned into something very good for the St Helens side. But here's Jason Baitieri now, French international of Australian extraction, and it's a penalty for the Dragons, their first of the game, I think.
Well, James Child is laying down the law here and saying, look, we want a clean, open game, and I'd like to see that from an official. Sometimes they give him a hard time, but it was quite easy to pick out. It was McCarthy, Scarsbrook and Kyle Amor. They were the culprits.
Casti now, who became the first Frenchman to make the Super League Dream Team in 2012, Remy Casti, and he really has given everything for his hometown club. Here is Dave Taylor, try scorer so far, the only try scorer in the game.
Such upper body strength. You could see he was trying to fend off, twisting the tackle, looking for the offload, couldn't get it away.
To Lissier, Glenn Stewart now. Saints back on their own try line defending. The former Manly man is eventually stopped. Pelissier. Carney with a little grubber kick in, too strong, and Walsh will field it. Will he get out of trouble? No way.
Well, it turned out a good kick eventually, but quite frankly, when Carney put the kick through, I'm afraid none of his teammates realised what was happening. They've got to be a little bit smarter than that. You could see out on the three-quarter line, Carney said, we'll put it in goal area. OK, they've got it. It was a good effort in the end. But no one was aware on the Catalan side that that man was going to put the little grubber through.
Having a bit more treatment, Todd Carney over by the halfway line as Luke Walsh lines up the first goal line dropout of the game. And it's into the arms of young Lucas Albert and then into the hands of not so young Remy Casti, who again makes some hard-earned yards for the Dragons.
His workload is amazing. Simple as that. And even his own players, they just say, how on earth does he do it? He just keeps going. But this guy's back in top form. He's creating all sorts of a problem, getting over the advantage line. That look forward, crowd, St. Helens crowd anyway, said that certainly was.
Pelissier to Baitieri. Marginal. Here is Stewart, or the pass down at the toes. And Gigot couldn't take it.
It was a shocker. And he looks to his teammate and said, did you expect me to get that? That was awful there from Glenn Stewart. Top quality player like that. You could see he was always dipping. It'd be difficult for to take it in. Did he knock on? Did he go backwards? Either way, he's already made the decision as James Child. It should be head and feet to Saints. Not so sure that's right. Was that Stewart?
Well, I think it might have come off the Saints player's knee, which would have made it a knock on. But it's certainly gone to ground, and the Saints have got head and feet.
It's the referee's view of it. Here is Mark Percival. Now Kyle Amor coming off the bench. Big bearded, bustling front rower.
You know, that's not the first time we've seen the Dragons tackle a St. Helens player, picking up and pushing backwards. At the moment, the physical battle, perhaps just in favour of the visitors.
Yeah, St. Helens, sorry Bill, St. Helens are playing a very tight, short passing game. They're not running onto the ball out wide. It's just a very flat pass. But they're not anywhere near the halfway line. Though Roby has put it, and that was a killer pass.
Well, that's a good point that you make, fella. The meters after contact that the Catalan Dragons players are making is in stark contrast to the Saints players. See, James Roby picks up the ball, and immediately to greet him is Catalan defenders, players in the way, in the road, and the focus comes off the ball and onto the player and defender.
What happened to free play?
Well, I didn't see a knock on from Baitieri there, where he's trying to pick the ball up. Perhaps he should have been allowed to play on from that.
Well, that could have changed the game. I mean, that was a try for all money. And you could see the look of disgust as they turned to the referee. There you see it. There's no knock on.
Comes off his boot.
Yeah, he comes off his boot. He should have had a free run to the post and scored.
A bit like Fatuli Talanoa last night at Widnes, but it didn't pan out like that for the Dragons. Oh, Bernard Gouache, the chairman, is here. That's one tick in the conspiracy theory box for him already tonight. Here is Pelissier, try scorer on this ground at the start of last season. Could have had two in actual fact that night when Saints just beat the Dragons. Stray pass, but it's picked up by Dave Taylor, who's got great handling skills.
Well, he has it, sorry Bill, but the thing is that Taylor was there one-handed looking for support. There was nobody there. You've got to take your opportunities. Taylor was screaming for someone to be there.
Garcia races in there. The kick, though, is too strong.
Not bad from the little halfback, pushed it through, but far too heavy. Saints will be very, very pleased that they've not conceded any more, which I think they should have been. Baitieri should have really gone over for the try.
Wilkin trying to inspire the side. The ball's gone backwards, says the referee.
This is very lacklustre from Saints. Again, look at that short pass. They're all flat. If someone makes a break, there's hardly anybody running onto it.
Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook gets the pass away to Carl Amor, but Saints, yeah, a bit static.
They look, Steve-O, like they're keeping it tight because they want to tire those big forwards, which, let's be honest, they've got just as good a forwards on the bench.
Here's Percival. Percival has Swift in support. And can he get in at the corner? Well, Broughton denying. No!
Boy, there was a little doubt about the final pass. He'll give this.
No doubt in the mind of referee James Child, and Saints breaking out. Mark Percival, one of the heroes of that Warrington win last week, setting up the try for Adam Smith. Adam Swift is 11th of the season, sets him out as the leading try scorer for this Saints side.
Tremendous break. Mark Percival. Turner just pushed him through. You can see that they've sucked in Todd Carney, but that looked very, very close to a forward. Great effort by Swift, finishes it off, but there's got to be some doubt about this final pass.
Well, beautiful footwork from Percival. He needs to clear his mind, deliver this pass. And over the last couple of weeks, I've talked about grip on the ball and how important it is, especially in try-scoring chances. Adam Swift knows he's going to be under pressure from defenders. He puts the ball in one hand, gets his thumb around the ball, puts the ball out in front of his body and slams the ball down. That's a stunning finish from the winger.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the pass. I think it just floats forward with a bit of momentum. Just how you like them, Steve-O. But he's passed that ball sideways.
Well, Jody Broughton's tried everything, hasn't he, to get back and prevent the try. He stretched his leg, perhaps maybe a hamstring, which you see already have some medical attention on it prior to that. He hasn't got back up on the field. For me, the biggest difference between St Helens in the first half of the season and what we're seeing right now is their willingness to attack from their own half and then their ability to turn that attack into points. That is a fantastic rugby league try.
So Mark Percival will attempt to level the scores, but it's a very difficult conversion for him. Way out wide. He's landed 28 so far this season, but he's missed with that one. The Saints on the board. Adam Swift with the try.
Well, Mark Percival, when he anticipates he's going to get that ball, he changes his body. He's going on an outward angle, cuts back up his left foot, creates some space, finds a gap, and that pass and composure he shows when he delivers that pass, there's nothing wrong for me.
It's probably the most difficult skill I think there is in rugby league. To run at full speed, as Percival's doing in a straight line, turn and twist your body and pass it backwards to a player also moving at full speed and get it to hit the target.
Hit the target and sometimes maybe a metre out in front of the target and where the target's going to be when the ball meets the moving object.
Let's go.
Well, we want your tweets. Send in your questions. And as you can see there, we will answer the best ones after the game.
One, move!
At
Keep
Sky
coming,
Sports
wait.
RL or
Go.
hashtag #SkyRL and let us know your thoughts. Give us your questions.
Two, move, get square!
And we will do our
Hold
best to
over.
answer them.
Go, two.
Saints then on the board. St Helens 4,
Incoming,
Catalan
volley.
Dragons 6,
Got it.
Leeds 0, Hull Kingston Rovers 0.
Got it.
Latest score in that. Remember, Castleford still leading 6-0. That fantastic breakout try. Denny Solomona, the try scorer, leading try scorer in Super League.
One, move!
Well, we see that
Hold
Fuad
fellas.
Yars had to switch from the
Wait.
left wing over to the right here. Jody Broughton's off the field, and what a difference that try's made. It's been skill that's got them the points. They've not been able to outpower their opponents
Two
in the
off
middle
the
at
ball,
present.
James. Go,
We've
well
got
done.
back on the first score for them, and now they're able
There,
to
move, Louis.
build their way
Keep
back
coming,
into
come
it.
on.
Without Dave
Go.
Taylor on the field, maybe the Dragons just aren't quite as scary.
Don't know,
Move,
they've got Julian
James, come on.
Bousquet out there. He's
Wait.
pretty scary.
Go.
He's gone on in place, and that's a penalty. And Greg Richards
You've got to roll
not
away. The onus is on
inclined
you
to get out
roll
of the
away.
way.
Yeah, well, he came up with a very, very good tackle, didn't he? And the rules state you have to make movement away from the ruck. Failed to do it.
All right.
He won't get a tap on the back from his coach, Kieran Cunningham.
That's a big blow, though.
Line, guys.
Jody Broughton off the field, the main strike
Just
man
wait.
for the Catalan Dragons. He's third on the Super League try chart.
It'll be interesting to see how Adam Swift out on that left wing.
Louis, line.
There's
Go.
Broughton being taken away, and of course Yaha has switched to the right wing.
Well, Yaha did get a hat-trick against Widnes last week, so the young man is no slouch.
Surrender!
And the centre partnership on this left edge now is Justin Horrow in the centre and big Vincent Dupont on the wing.
Here's Jason Baitieri, Catalan Dragons pressing. Pelissier fires the ball up. That was forwards to Louis Anderson, says referee James Childs.
Yeah, the idea was good, but the execution was very poor indeed. See how he holds it, and you can see he'd gone right past the runner.
Well, Eloi Pelissier is a very explosive, dynamic player, but I don't necessarily think that the starting of the game suits his style. The number 9 on the bench for the Catalan Dragons, Paul Ayton, is much better at the nuts and bolts of a game, and Catalan Dragons might be better served bringing Pelissier on to change the rhythm of the game, create some chaos, and it looks like they're going to do the reverse. So we'll see Paul Ayton shortly.
Paul Ayton just getting back to fitness. It's only his 7th game tonight because he's just had wretched luck with injury. We've got Super 8's qualifiers action tomorrow. What a game this promises to be as the championship champions, if you like, the Lee Centurions, take on the Salford Red Devils. You can see that on Sky Sports 4 from 2:55 tomorrow afternoon from the Lee Sports Village ground. And they're very much looking forward to that at Lee, taking on the big Super League opponents.
Interesting to see there that Luke Walsh looked as though he was going to prepare to kick early in the tackle count, in fact, on the 3rd. But again,
Percival's having a wow of a time out there. The pass to Lomax, and Lomax just having a time for him to shout something back there. It's the last, and Lomax, Luke Walsh hoists the kick. Is batted down by Anderson. Still on the last, says the referee. It's still alive. He's wiped the tackle count clean.
Boy, fortunate there for Saints, but they won't mind. Roby, he'll take control of the dummy half. Wilkin.
Great opportunity for Saints here. Yaha miles out of position. Swift will get another one. Back-to-back tries for Adam Swift. He went into the game as the joint top try scorer with Joe Greenwood, but he's put himself out in front now.
Well, it was a real schmozzle, wasn't it? It looked as though Catalan had kept the Saints down. It was on the last, and then it ricocheted. James Child, but the break, and Percival is having a tremendous game. What a beautiful offload there by Jordan Turner. The combination there, he did well, didn't he, Lomax, to hang on to it. But keep your eye out there, the kick was good. And keep your eye out now, once they get it through, the big fella is in all sorts of trouble.
That wasn't the incident, Mike, where he actually wiped it back. It was a kick funnel, and that was it from Greenwood. They had 6 more players, and that's a brilliant pass there from Luke Walsh. An invitation for Percival to put another one on the plate for Adam Swift.
Yeah, and you saw the inexperience here of the winger, Yaha. Well, it may indicate his name is a bit something to laugh about, but when it came out there on the angle, it left there an enormous overlap.
And Catalan Dragons in a bit of disarray at the moment following Jody Broughton's injury. And that's meant Louis Anderson operating on that left wing for them, and he didn't deal with that high kick. Fuad Yaha didn't deal with what was facing him on the other wing either. So Catalan have got problems. St Helens have got their noses in front, and Luke Walsh has taken on the goal-kicking duties. Just about identical from the first conversion of the game, which Mark Percival missed. So Luke Walsh will try his luck from that distance and angle. And Walsh has better luck. He is on target. And St Helens go ahead by 10 points to 6.
Well, we've just seen evidence of 2 things in that last try. Mark Percival is one of the best centres running around in Super League. And Luke Walsh, with that kicking game, if he meant to do that, if he realised, identified that the player on the wing was Louis Anderson and vulnerable, then that's so smart from the number 7 for Saints, and it's good signs.
So Catalan Dragons, the restart causing problems for the Saints, but salvaged by Roby. Meanwhile, Mendeho's Jungle, more action there, Ben.
Yeah, Castleford have extended their lead. Bill, since you were last with me, it was a penalty from Luke Gale that extended their advantage to 6 points to 0, and they've just doubled that because in a minute Paul McShane is going to dive over as this Wigan defence is retreating. Castleford, of course, seeking their 3rd win in 4 games with the Wigan Warriors, and Paul McShane's going to dive over under the posts, improved by Gale, and the Tigers now lead by 12 points to 0. 28 gone here.
Massive result that would be in the top 4 placings. I'm sure Hull FC will be cheering the Castleford Tigers on in that one.
It's a long way to go, though.
Well, Saints will be happy with that.
I must say that St Helens have gone back to kicking early in the tackle count. Remember, in the first 10 minutes, they just turned this heavy Catalan side around, kicked into the corner from Luke Walsh. Boy, that looked close to a forward.
We saw Jody Broughton going off the field earlier on. It's caused problems for the Dragons. Let's find out what the situation is with Angela.
Yeah, like you said, Bill, that try scored in the corner, the try where Jody Broughton should have been, but he's on the sidelines now, iced up with that hamstring. You saw some pink taping on the back of his leg. He was carrying something as he came into the game, and it's tweaked it too much from that tackle, try-save, or near try-saving tackle, the first one in the corner by Swift. The chances of him coming back, it's 50-50 at the moment. They might have to go the whole match without him.
Well, that was poor play by the young halfback, Albert. There's the problem with Broughton. See all the ice on the left thigh. Now, the official, James Child, was shouting out to the youngster, "You're offside, keep away." And what did he do? Continues on.
Everybody was offside, Steve, or the pass went back 10 metres. It was like I was watching Steve Hampson in the 90s or the 80s. Everybody's offside. And ultimately, the man that makes the tackle, it could have been any one of about 10 of them.
It's not, I mean, the penalties conceded by the Dragons in this match, almost half an hour in, are not foul play, they're just poor play. They've not got themselves back on side, they've not concentrated enough, and it's been an invitation, having dominated possession in the physical opening 15 minutes, in the last 10 or so, they're now looking under pressure.
Coming up to the half-hour mark, and they're penalised again.
Okay.
Well, there's one way allowed inside to take control, and you can see that it hit the upper part of the body, but he's finished well and truly into the face. Not the best from Anderson. Not impressed either. Freshenou, the coach, you're right to be upset.
Well, we've seen this from his side. They're their own worst enemies at times, the Catalan Dragons, and they're showing that tendency at the moment. Here's Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook. Fancies another try, got one against Warrington last week. Wilkin on to Walsh. Walsh, short pass to Luke Thompson.
Good tackle by Aiton, it had to be as well.
Amor, rumbling forward, Kyle Amor, almost to the try line.
Held up. Always lost control of it. That'll be a knock on. He's going to put the scrum 10 metres down. Amor saying it was pinched, but it wasn't. Good positioning there by James Child.
I think just 2 players previous to this here, as we see Kyle Moore go hard and low but lose possession. We've got to give a lot of credit to Lucas Albert, the young French scrum half, who did a brilliant job of stopping Louis McCarthy's Carsbrook. And the fans here not happy.
There's hands in here, Tony Gigot.
Well, the referee was in a great position and he's made a call.
He's looking at him.
That's the view from the ref cam. You can see clearly the ball just comes out. Kyle Amor didn't have a good grip of the ball. I don't see anybody stealing the ball, and it just comes out.
He's allowed to pull it away from his body if he's near the try line. Our players then allowed to knock it out of his grasp.
Well, no, because nobody does it.
But that's what Tony Gigot does.
So that's a couple of breaks for the Dragons as they get the penalty as well for a scrum infringement from Saints. And
I don't like
thumbs it into touch.
Sorry, Bill, I don't like that rule where you can catch the opposition. I mean, we don't even have proper scrums, and yet you can get a penalty from not packing or breaking away early. Ridiculous.
Paul Aiton is on. Former Leeds man, the first. Walsh with the throw, and that sparks things up here. And Catalan did not like that from the Saints number 7.
Well, it was silly play. You know, he took him over the horizontal. And once you realise that, you should let go. And it was too late, and, you know, that could have caused a very, very bad injury.
This could be a game changer here.
It's a yellow card, it's nothing more than that.
The referee's got a decision to make. I'm not saying it is.
Well, it should be a yellow card.
It looks bad.
Stuart.
Well, James Charles certainly got a decision to make here. You know, the match review panel will look at that. He's landing on his shoulders, so they look at it as his hips being higher than his head. And if they look at it, there's every chance that he would get a ban. So if he gets a ban from the match review panel, that means he should have been dealt with on the day by the referee. So is it a yellow, is it a red? I think it's one or the other.
In rugby union, it would be red, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be. And, you know, certainly the way we've had some bans this year for similar tackles, you'd think this one could be red as well.
Yes, that was my view.
Luke Walsh, it was with the tackle on young Lucas Albert.
Luke Walsh.
Came running in from a distance. He was playing on the
James Charles
All right, I'll speak to them both. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
taking the opinion of his
He's getting one of them
Luke.
out.
colleagues.
Off you go. 10 minutes.
Well, 10 minutes in the bin for Luke Walsh. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and I think that Kieran Cunningham is very much aware that he's lucky to only have this man off for 10 minutes. It's no good shaking your head. It's against the rules of the game, and you can see here, well and truly,
I've blown the penalty straight away.
intentional.
I don't need his guys in from a distance.
He's got that all wrong. Kieran Cunningham,
It also includes your play.
that's the reaction to the card.
Okay, Greg.
I'm sure in the back of his mind he's relieved it's not red and only a yellow. There was some discussion taking place between the referee and the Catalan players after the tackle was made. A lot of players rushing in, and that's just stoked the fire a little bit.
The Saints fans lifting as a result of that. They're outraged at the fact their man got 10 minutes in the sin bin. It could have been a heck of a lot worse.
Sure could, Bill, and this will also lift the visitors as well. Nothing like a flare-up to get you back into the game.
Getting the brunt of it from the Saints defenders. Now here's Glenn Stewart. Stewart with a short pass to Benjamin Garcia, and Garcia is over the try line. Held up, says the referee.
It was a neat short pass, wasn't it, by Glenn Stewart?
Paul Ayton, good to see him back in action there, wearing number 9 for the Catalan Dragons. Muniz shifts it on quickly. Louis Anderson.
Well, he should have looked to the left. They had the overlap there.
Couldn't make the most of it. Saints able to defend.
Jack Owens had come in. Now he's got himself in a good position. That's great defence. Good work by Lomax.
Great defence from Johnny Lomax to deny Todd Carney. Duport on the last. The kick across fields. And Fuad Yaha was chasing and Saints survived.
That was smart, that.
Penalty though, isn't it?
That was smart, that. Good kick.
Someone's been taken out off the ball.
I think it was the tackle on Tony Gigo.
Well, Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, late challenge, so the penalty's where the ball lands.
Well, the kick was a good one because the fullback Johnny Lomax made that tackle. The ball was kicked into the space. And a tackle, late one from LMS.
Silly play. I mean, what goes through the brain of some of these players?
Well, we see the penalty's given 10 metres out because the ball landed in the in-goal area. So it's any penalty where the ball lands in there, it's got to be 10 metres out in the field of play, and that's why it's where it is.
Great opportunity now for the Catalan Dragons. The Saints supporters roaring their side on defiantly. It's been quiet here at Langtree Park, not so quiet now as Lucas Albert shifts it on to Gigo. Carney just managed to keep a hold of that.
Yeah, he wanted to do the step before he took possession of the ball, got away with it.
Saints pride themselves on their defence. It's improved markedly as the season has gone on. Anderson gets the pass away to Paul Ayton. Ayton has got support, and Jason Baicieri is in under the post. And St Helens draw level. Catalan draw level with the Saints, 10 points apiece. Jason Baicieri, the try scorer, only his 4th of the season, and St Helens supporters furious at the passage of play there that led to that Catalan try.
And the rush of blood from Luke Walsh, the high tackle, has given him the opportunity to get into a very good position. And the loose forward, Jason Baicieri. This is the off-the-ball incident. Silly play there, McCarthy Scarsbrook. Takes out the fullback. Why on earth do you want to do that? and they have paid the price. It's all about keeping the ball alive, and Paul Ayton did exceptionally well. Short pass, twisting again, he utilised the post to help him. It prevented some of the Saints players getting near him.
Well, the offload from Anderson is a good one, but it's the reaction of the players in front of him. And Jason Baitieri, he's one of the unsung heroes of this Catalan Dragons outfit. He does that all game, every game, and it doesn't matter whether he's coming away from his own line or he's near his opponent's try line. A very hard-working player that's just got his team back in the game.
Luke Walsh sitting out the remainder of this first half. And Lucas Albert, another straightforward kick for the young scrum half. Remember, no Thomas Bosch for the Dragons, and now they're an able deputy. And Catalan regain the advantage. Jason Baitieri's 4th try of the season. They've all been away from home.
Well, St Helens will be disappointed, I think, to concede this try. But boy, their defence, since Luke Walsh was sent to the sin bin, has been inspired. Okay, they've let their opponent score, but they can continue to defend with the attitude and hunger that they've just shown for the last 3 or so minutes. They'll go very, very well in this match. And then for the 2nd time in the first half, Alex Walmsley comes back onto the field here now. He's had a spell, and he'll get 4 minutes here now to try and make an impact. His team are down to 12 men, they're 2 points behind. And the Dragons sense another try if possible before the break.
Closing minutes of the first half here. Likewise, I think, at the Menderhose Jungle. And Wigan have hit back.
Whoa, move, John! Hold, wait, Luke.
Here, Bill.
Go.
And on 32 minutes, Wigan are actually on the board. Matty Smith's pass, not ruled forward to Liam Hossop. Sam Powell goes over. And Sam Powell has managed to hard the gap on Daryl Powell's men. 12-6 now.
So Wigan hitting back. Here goes Fuad Yaha taking on Swift. Swift comes back to make the tackle. Quite a chunky figure, Fuad Yaha.
That's going to be a penalty. He put the man onto the ground and then had a second goal. Well, the lack of brains, I'm afraid, is going against St Helens. He's already done the tackle.
That used to be a yellow card, Mike.
Yeah, in the olden days, when they brought the yellow card in.
So 12-6 at Castleford.
Come on, John, penalties.
Here it's 12-10 in favour of the Catalan Dragons.
The lack of composure by Saints must be so irritating for Kieran Cunningham, the coach.
Release. Wait.
Baitieri
Go.
plays the ball. Catalan looking to capitalise on their numerical advantage in the closing minutes of this first half. Here's Justin Horrow, but that ball comes loose.
Great defence.
Saints snapping it up.
Outstanding defence from St Helens. They're in number down, and Catalan Dragons put that play on. 9 times out of 10 it results in a try, and Saints working hard away from their own line.
Yeah, it was good hit by McCarthy Scarsbrook, who was followed through by Greenwood.
Here's Walmsley, rampaging run from big Alex Walmsley, ever present for Saints this season. Turner fires the pass out wide and to nobody.
What a shame. He puts it in front of one and behind another. He sees players in space, wants to get it to the outside. Wasn't the best decision.
Timing on the
But
pass,
good work from Saints. Defensively, they stood up to the task. And you just felt them generate a little bit of momentum. All comes to naught as a pass goes and drifts off the island.
Well, you got the impression there that Jordan Turner a little bit upset at the way that Adam Swift had overrun. It's amazing how some of the wingers do not stand back and run onto the ball. You could see he'd gone before the ball went behind him.
Let's work these discipline. All right, John. Yeah.
Swift 2 tries in this first half for him.
Okay, stay there, stay there. Heads in, heads in.
And head and feed to the Catalan Dragons just inside the Saints half. The Saints defensive line up very quickly there.
One, move, hold. Go.
Morgan Knowles on, helping out at that tackle, the young Cumbrian.
Move, hold. Go.
Greg Muniz plays the ball. Here is Lucas Albert, goes behind Carney. There's a knock on, in fact. Sloppy from the Catalan Dragons.
At a vital time as well. They could have put themselves in a very, very good position. But there again, you just got the impression that Todd Carney didn't want to run forward.
Well, he has had problems with his left knee. I don't know whether it's ligament or cartilage, but the physio's been on several times when we've had breaks in play. He's totally comfortable with his left knee.
No, you're right.
Although the pass wasn't good enough, he needed a closer pass to catch that one.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big decision now for the coach, Fresno.
Let's form up.
To keep him out there. He's such an icon when it comes to the Dragons team.
Tony, come on, ball it.
But he could be a passenger. They'll have to work on him at half-time.
So final minute of the first 40, and it's been, well, it's had its moments this first half. There have been quite a number of errors, but it's a nervy game. There's a lot at stake for these two sides. Saints know that they can put vital distance between themselves in fourth and the Dragons. The Dragons know that they can reclaim fourth in the table if they are to win this one. No wonder the tension is high, because the stakes are high.
Well, you can see that St. Helens attacking hard on that right-hand side. That's where Todd Carney's positioned himself in defence. They obviously feel that he's got a problem with the leg. Oh, but that's great work. Wonderful stuff by Louis Anderson.
It was Louis Anderson.
Away!
I think referees wiped the tackle count clean there because of Anderson's intervention. And Swift will gather, and Swift will get his hat-trick. A blow of the whistle from referee James Child, a smile from Adam Swift, and Saints do what Saints do best. They leave their opponents dumbfounded, and Adam Swift, what a first half he has had.
Well, he's stunned. Coach Fresno, he's happy as Larry, the hat-trick man. Swift by name, Swift by nature, and I must say that they have taken the 5-card trick of the Catalan side. All they had to do was hold him down. They were more interested in trying to throw a few more punches. But what about the kick from Jordan Turner? No doubt about it being onside, Stuart. And it was also magnificent positioning.
Well, we forget that Jordan Turner, by trade, is a centre. He's standing in, he's doing his best for his team and his teammates. He recognises that there's no time on the clock. He recognises that Todd Carney is limping and a passenger, puts the ball in the right space. And Adam Swift, if Phil you'd have got your way, he'd have been in the sin bin.
Well, I've played to the rules, that's what I think. I mean, Laurent Fresno's been here with the Dragons. It was a number of years ago when the Dragons actually won in the very last seconds. We'll get a second half of this one. This game's not over, but a great first half. Can't wait for the second.
I think we're having kicking auditions for St. Helens tonight, because Jack Owens is the third goal kicker of the first half. He's kicked his. And St. Helens, with Adam Swift scoring a first half hat-trick, have struck the lead right on half-time. 16-12, they lead. And what a finale to that first 40 it was, with that try for Swift. And St. Helens, despite the fact that Luke Walsh is in the bin, show true spirit.
In a game of huge importance in the race for the final fourth playoff spot, it is St. Helens currently occupying that spot, that lead by 4 points at half-time from the Catalan Dragons. A very late Adam Swift try has pushed them out in front. Okay, there is another game in the Super League Super 8s. It's over at the Mendahose Jungle, and courtesy of tries from Denny Solomona and Paul McShane. Castleford Tigers lead 12-6 against Wigan, who replied 8 minutes before half-time through Sam Powell, with Matty Smith converting that. And there is a Super 8s qualifiers game at Headingley. The post champions, the Leeds Rhinos, lead 8-0. A Callum Watkins try converted by Liam Sutcliffe, and then a late Liam Sutcliffe penalty has pushed them 8 points in front of Old Kingston Rovers. Okay, at Langtry Park Stadium, Kieran Cunningham said in the build-up to this game, he promised Catalan Dragons they would see a different St. Helens side than that which was down twice by the French team earlier this year. You would say after that first 40 minutes, they are much improved. Laurent Fresno asked his side in the build-up to the game, how do you want to be remembered in 2016? well, they're giving it a right go in this game. They do trail at half-time. Lauren Fraser said it is our grand final. It's an early call for that, but it is a game of huge significance. And Remy Casti, John Wells, said to you in the build-up to this game, it was do or die. And he, perhaps more than any of the rest of the French players, started the game like it was that significant.
He showed the way for the opening 20 minutes. I thought it was fantastic. We'll just pick him up the back of the ruck. We'll play on here and it'll become obvious. There he is, Boots just ducking in behind the ruck. He made some superb yards and got Catalan on the front foot early on. That was the first of two significant drives, and the second was actually in setup for Dave Taylor's try. Lovely little kick on the inside from Albert. Superb tackle from Johnny Lomax as well. This is the second. He's such a handful to pull down. He recruits so many players, but have a look off the ball. Dave Taylor here, known for his bulk and his size and his strength. He's smart as well, and he got himself in between two defenders. Worth showing that. It's significant, the work that goes on off the ball to put yourselves in the right position to get those tries.
Okay, 6-0 to the Catalan Dragons. Did you get a feeling at the start of that game that St. Helens were perhaps overplaying just a fraction? Oh,
not a fraction, far too much. But this is Saints' way. They will always back themselves. They back they're a highly skilled bunch of individuals. Overplayed there from Greenwood to Lomax, and then once again overplayed from Roby to Amor. Uncharacteristic that. But when it does click, it clicks, doesn't it? This was the first of two tries from Adam Swift, and the significance of that turn back on the inside here. You'll see it better on the next shot of Swift's second try, but it actually starts to recruit and involve members of that right edge who've had to come in and commit then in that tackle, which means there's an adjustment going on off your screen now. Todd Carney, who disappears to the right of your screen, is the second defender in. There's precious little time for him to look up, to adjust, and then have a look at Percival. I'll just take that back ever so slightly.
His footwork here is sensational.
And he's renowned for this. Absolutely superb. Times it really well. He knows exactly what Todd Carney's doing and puts himself through a hole, and then very unselfishly sends off to Adam Swift in support for that first of two tries. Incidentally, that was the end of Jody Broughton as well. We've heard him build up to the game. He was quite tight in that hamstring. Evidence there that was borne out by that injury. Again, look, that's the significance there. That ball back on the inside here has recruited one player, two players, and has got the attention even of Glenn Stewart out here. So then have a look at what happens off the back of that. They play to that left edge. The adjustments here, the adjustments that are going on, late retreaters, there's precious little time for them to talk and to communicate, and they get them on that edge. Once again, through the hands, Jordan Turner straightens it up well. This time a dummy from Percival. Great tackle, it has to be said, by Duport coming across. But then two plays later, they spin it out. What about this for a piece of vision from Luke Walsh? Sees Fuad Yaha, who switched wings in the absence of Jody Braun, which is no easy feat, actually. Sometimes you switch wings, you feel like you've been turned inside out. Great piece of work.
That try was converted by Luke Walsh, who had taken over the kicking duties from Mark Percival, who injured himself in the build-up. And I want to say something about Luke Walsh and his sin binning. It was booed, the decision by James Child to sin bin Luke Walsh inside the stadium, and people were questioning that decision. I would say to the people that are questioning that decision with a dangerous throw like that, you need to think long and hard about how you want this game of rugby league to look. It's a tough game played by tough people, and I don't for a minute think Luke Walsh is a dangerous player, but that has got no place in the game.
Well said. Well, okay. That's the first time I've seen you animated.
Let's move on. After that sin binning, the Catalan Dragons, they've got possession, they've got territory, they needed to make it count. They almost didn't.
Big chance. Now, as it happened, Bateri scored about 2 or 3 minutes after this. But at this level, and at Super 8 rugby and semi-finals rugby, you've now got to start making these decisions right first time. If this ball goes out the back to Todd Carney, they've got a clear 3-on-1. It's the wrong decision for me. Jigo sees the space with Louis Anderson, quickly closed down. Now, at that point, before Swift scored on the stroke of half-time, it looked like that was vindicated, and they'd put enough pressure on. Lovely little play by Ayton, and then on to Bateri, which took them into the lead. But that may be significant. They cannot give up chances like that.
That gave them the 12-10 lead, and then a late Swift try, which was converted. 16-12 to St. Helens. It is delicately poised as we head towards a break. After that, we've got a second half coming up. Remember, St. Helens with a win tonight, they can push 4 points clear of the Catalan Dragons. If it is the Dragons who come out on top, they will move into that crucial 4th spot because of their points difference, which is, of course, superior. Huge 40 minutes coming up. Join us after this break.
Coming up live on Sky Sports tomorrow, it's action from the Super 8's qualifiers as the Lee Centurions, who really are desperate to get into Super League, take on Super League opposition in the shape of the Salford Red Devils. Sky Sports 4, 2:55 p.m. for that one. It's going to be a big game at Lee Sports Village. It's going to be a big second half here at Langtree Park. St Helens just ahead as we resume. Saints 16, Catalan 12 the scoreline. The Dragons with all sorts of problems in terms of who plays where, which presumably Laurent Fraser-New has been trying to resolve during half-time. Jody Broughton off the field, and Todd Carney is on it, but not particularly effective because of injury.
Get square, Luke.
Well, I think Laurent Fraser-New, Bill, made a big that's a big error from Stewart already. But he made a big error just before the half-time break, in as much that he knew that Carney was injured, and for some unknown reason, instead of carting him off, we said that he was going to be a passenger, and what did he do? Turner got the ball, realised that he was injured, kicked into the corner, and could not prevent the hat-trick try from Adam Swift.
Who would be a coach? Laurent Fraser-New, that just looking, there is no Todd Carney out there in actual fact for the Catalan Dragons.
Well, St Helens out without their problems because Mark Percival went off as well in the first half. Lou McCarthy-Scarsbrook now playing in the centres. Both teams set with physical challenges. You've just got to get over them.
Some versatile players out there. Here's Joe Greenwood. Saints trying to profit from that error from Glenn Stewart right at the start of this second half. Here's Alex Wormsley. Really could only be one thing, big Alex Wormsley. Dynamic prop forward. Luke Thompson now.
Good build-up by the forwards.
Luke Walsh, the cheer is for Luke Walsh returning to the field. There he is at the bottom of the screen. And that's sloppy from St Helens. Wormsley just dropping on the ball. Walsh out of the sin bin then. Saints looking to start the second half where they left off the first with that try from Swift. His Peyrou gets the pass away to Swift, but he's immediately flattened by Fouad Yaha. Walsh on the last, hoists a kick. They climb for it, the ball is still loose, and it's Louis Anderson who picks it up.
Oh, Taylor drops it.
McCarthy-Scarsbrook pounces on it.
It was a free play. That was a free play, surely.
Turn over, yeah? Turn over. So play the ball.
Was it?
No advantage.
Knock on by St Helens
on
the last tackle, so it's a turnover 10 metres out.
Just wait.
Well, James Childs has mystified some people, including Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, as you saw there with that decision.
I thought the St Helens player knocked it backwards, not forwards. Boy, that was a big relief there for the Catalan outfit.
Not flavour of the month, the referee, or not flavour of the evening anyway. Here's the kick.
And it's knocked backwards by the Saints player. That should have been scrum and feed. And that's a neat kick.
Well, we're going to get to see what Tony Guigeot can do. He's been very effective as a fullback. He's going to get his hands and feet involved a little bit more in this half now. Without Thomas Bosch, Richard Myler, Todd Carney. He's in a way there, the main playmaker was Carney watches on from the sideline. I'd be very surprised if he came back.
Well, we'll find out exactly what's been happening at half-time. Let's go down to the sidelines and join Angela.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I was talking to John Longkirk, the assistant coach, Kieran Cunningham, and he says basically they think they're forcing the play a little bit too much. They want to concentrate on being more patient in this half, take the chances where they could, but don't force the play. Discipline, of course, has been costing them as well. It needs to tighten up in that area. They need more ball and they need to complete. The Catalan Dragons, Laurent Fraser-New says they really need to keep hold of the ball more and cut out those errors. They really want to tire out this St Helens team who've been down to 12 men for the last 10 minutes. Stick to the game plan, complete the sets, and the bad news, as you pointed out, Bill, you spotted him, Carney's not out there and he won't play for the rest of the game.
Carney out, Jody Broughton out, and Saints on the charge.
Yeah, good build up there, great run from the prop forward, Alex Wormsley. That's what you need, get over the advantage line, then you can put the pressure and maybe the kick.
Saints flowing forward now, Greenwood, lovely ball, finds Lomax, carving his way through the middle.
Boy, that was a big hit by Dave Taylor. It was, I don't think it was high, but the fullback, Johnny Lomax, felt that, and why wouldn't he? Look at the size of this fella.
But Dave Taylor, when he makes that tackle, he hangs on a little bit too far. There's nothing wrong with that tackle. The impact knocked Johnny Lomax off his feet. It was lovely hands. Is there a shoulder charge from Glenn Stewart?
I don't think so. I think it's just a step that took him the other side of him. I don't think there's anything wrong with the tackle, but he certainly stayed in there too long, which is what the penalty is for.
And I think he viewed that as the worst of the two evils. I think this is a shoulder charge all day and all night, but...
Well, he shoulder charged his own man virtually, didn't he?
Is that illegal?
That could have been a flop as well by Jason Battieri. He's going berserk as Johnny Lomax, and he thinks it's a high shot, but it wasn't.
His teammates just telling him to calm down.
Well, St Helens questioning whether that should have been a yellow card, really. They felt in a try-scoring position that they've been slowed down illegally. The referee thinks no, enough players back in position to defend it, and it's as though St Helens want to edge ahead even more here now. They'll elect to kick at goal and add 2 more points.
And it's a smart move, Phil. Just settle things down slightly. It's I know they've already got the 4-point advantage. This will take it to 6.
Johnny Lomax.
He's still venting, isn't
it? He's pointing to that mark round his eye. If you can't see it from that angle, obviously, but if you get a look, you can just see redness next to his left eye, and that's what's aggrieved him, I think, as Walsh adds 2 more points. Saints edge their way to 18-12 ahead. The fullback is not impressed with something that's gone on there.
Well, when the tackle's made, and there's a little bit of wrestling on the floor, the hand is in the vicinity of the face of Johnny Lomax. I don't know whether...
He feels as though he got the eye injury or the bruising at that point.
You watch. When he goes back in here, Dave Taylor...
Right hand is around the head there. That doesn't look good, does it? It's moved by that point.
Move.
Could be repercussions from that. Meanwhile, more going on at the Mendehoes jungle.
2, move.
Castleford, Bill, have extended their lead. It's a raking kick, and Denny Solomona, who climbs highest to claim his 2nd try of the game, 30 for the season now. Well, the chairman, the Castleford chairman, saying that he wasn't for sale this week. He's contracted to the club for another 2 years, linked with Wigan, as you say, earlier this year, and 2 tries against them tonight.
Not just linked with Wigan, but Rugby Union apparently noticing the exploits of Denny Solomona. In great form this evening then, as the Castleford Tigers lead against the Wigan Warriors. Here St Helens lead against the Catalan Dragons by 18 points to 12. Here's Tony Gigot.
It's amazing, Bill, isn't it, when you think about it? They did the black and whites this week, and now it looks as though if they can hang on, they can do the same to Wigan. They could be a real thorn in any team in this Super 8.
Catalan by no means out of the picture here, but having to contend with injuries to 2 key players.
Well, it's a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of the young fella, Lucas Albert.
Here he is. Former Dragons youngster Lucas Albert, who was their youngest ever player when he made his debut last July. Jason Baitieri on the last, and that's a penalty.
Okay, all right. Walk away. Just walk away,
He's a
please.
feisty character.
Walk away.
Is Jason Baitieri.
Jason. Jason.
Well, he's not normally one to push and shove without reason.
Well, the penalties come from the play of the ball, where he just pulled Wilkin back from going for the ball, and then John Wilkins patted Jason Baitieri on the head, and Baitieri's gone back after him. That's what all that's about.
Well, they were also claiming that it was Joe Greenwood that was preventing him from playing the ball quickly. That's why he was saying it was obvious that Wilkin had been pulled back. Big relief. Only 6 points in it, as you say, Bill. Catalan side not out of this.
Wait!
So the penalty goes to St Helens in the end. Here's Morgan Knowles, another of the youngsters out there, just 19 years of age. Wormsley.
2, move Jason! Hold! Go, 2.
Makes good yards for Saints. Roby, Turner, Knowles again almost got that pass away. Peru was waiting for it. Another penalty.
They'll take the 2. And this will stretch it to 8, which is important.
They're looking good here, St Helens. I know they haven't put any points on the board, but they're getting the noses through, they're pushing through. And it's Morgan Knowles on that occasion. He has the ball available, chooses not to throw the speculator, but his lovely pass selection to put him through that gap. And Glenn Stewart, who was so important for the Catalan Dragons, looks virtually anonymous in this game. 48 minutes, 8 minutes of the second half, and I think St Helens look comfortable. It's only a matter of time.
Catalan giving the impression that they're just about clinging on at the moment.
Yeah, they're missing a few tackles as well, and quite a few of the forwards, they're going for a grab and trying to go a little bit too high. That shows not only fatigue but also desperation.
I think what's the big worry, Mike, is the fact that in the first half the Dragons had the majority of the ball and yet didn't really take full advantage of that. They had good field position, they had good possession, couldn't put any points because St Helens' defence in this game, as we've seen in this run of games where they've been successful, is outstanding, really. Even when Luke Walsh was simmered, it tended to go up even a higher level. With 12 men, they were almost impossible to score against, other than the one that he crashed over. They looked so committed to preventing the opponents gaining ground or getting downfield.
Luke Walsh has the goal-kicking duties back. We've seen Mark Percival goal-kicking tonight. We've seen Jack Owens successfully goal-kicking. And Walsh looking for 2 more points for Saints, which he gets. And Saints extend their advantage. Kieran Cunningham, he's been in games like this before in the illustrious history of this club.
And he knows very well that what is needed now is sheer professionalism from his team. In other words, don't have to risk the offload, take it nice and steady, play very professional indeed.
20 points to 12 here. I think more points at the Menderhose Jungle, the Castleford Tigers, Wigan Warriors game. Ben again.
That's right, Bill, and the cushion, just as it was at half-time, is 6 points. Ben Flower too strong from close range. And Wigan now trail by 6 again, 18-12.
Another penalty against the Catalan Dragons.
Yeah, they're just losing the plot, I'm afraid, and the big fella Dave Taylor, no doubt about it, it's been a big battle between Greenwood.
They look tired. They look tired, Catalan Dragons. It looks like they're the team that spent 10 minutes minus a player, Dave Taylor, playing big minutes in this match. He's done by the good footwork of Joe Greenwood, the coaching team of the Catalan Dragons. They've got some decisions to make. Who do we rotate? Who do we rest? Who do we save? Who do we need to get off and get on?
Who can we? Is another question for Laurent Freysineau. They have had a short turnaround with travel involved as well. And to be fair to the Catalan Dragons coach, been no great moaning about that. Hasn't made a big issue of it ahead of this game, but it could well be a factor in the last quarter or so of this match.
And this is where the likes of Jordan Turner can really be the instigator for creating even more points. But as I mentioned, just play professionally, and when you've got the halfback there, James Roby, another great pass from Turner.
And then Walmsley, marauding run from him, finds Luke Thompson. They've got the numbers here, and one of the numbers is 5, and it's Adam Swift with his 4th of the night. No hesitation for referee James Child. Tony Gigo protesting that was worth a look for the video ref. James Child, though, has awarded the try, and Adam Swift has a 4-timer tonight. Saints have been struggling for a leading try scorer. They've been struggling for tries this season, but Swift has found 4 already tonight.
Tremendous finish, great build-up as well. Remember, Catalan giving away another silly penalty. Switch back, good work by Walmsley. In and out, and the final pass. Hasn't it been absolutely wonderful for our game of rugby league? that they've changed the rule about forget about hitting the corner flag. If you're mid-air, then it will count. We have had some sensational tries since to change the ruling. And this will go down as one of them as well. Excellent finish.
Well, it's revolutionised the way that tries are scored and chances are created. And the thing I enjoyed about that game was the involvement of the forwards. It was Alex Walmsley who came back against the grain. He found Luke Thompson, who found the impressive Morgan Knowles. And Adam Swift, he dabbed the ball down. Before the game I spoke to him. He was on joint top try scoring duty with Joe Greenwood. I said, does that bother you? He said, of course it does, I'm a winger. I'm paid to score tries.
Well, he's got the 7th hat-trick of his career tonight. He's got 4 tries for the 2nd time this season, because he got 4 against Hull Kingston Rovers in June on this ground. Walsh has landed another goal kick, and this one wide out. And Swift, well, he was a bit unhappy earlier on, but look at this for a 4-timer from Adam Swift.
Well, the last time he played here on the wing against the Catalan Dragons, he stood there and watched his opponent, Jody Broughton, score 4 tries. Tonight he's made sure that that won't be the case, with 4 brilliant finishes here, playing on both sides of the field. He's shown an instinct like a great striker in football. He knows how to score when he's asked.
He got 4 tries against the Catalan Dragons on the losing side last year in Perpignan as well. Catalan with problems here.
Hold.
Wigan Warriors with problems at Castleford. Here's Ben again.
Yeah, talking of multiple try scorers, Bill, Denny Solomona has got his 3rd here. The most spectacular of the 3 as well. And worth mentioning that in that first half, 6 minutes gone, Manfredi off the field following a challenge from Rangi Chase. That could have been a significant factor there, but Solomona with 3 tries here, and Castleford lead by 24 points to 12.
Some finishing in the Super 8s tonight from 2 wingers in great form, Adam Swift and Denny Solomona. And Solomona is not going to be caught as top try scorer this season. Not such an expansive game by the look of things at Headingley Carnegie, where Leeds head Hull Kingston Rovers. 26-12. Luke Ailes just kicked a penalty to extend that Castleford Tigers lead. Really significant night at the top of the table in these Super 8s.
Loved a little kick there. We talk about the experience, and we saw there John Wilkin. Little kick into the corner. Okay, didn't want it to go over the whitewash, but the chase, like it's been all night from the St. Helens side, has been excellent.
It's efficient, isn't it, Steve-O? You look at the numbers for the match. According to our records, the set completion for Saints is just below 85%, and they are making, according to our records, again, 97% of their tackles, as we see a hefty collision.
Tony Gigo and Lomax. Justin Horrow is down. Now then.
Yeah. Well, that's a shoulder charge.
It is.
It's turned into him.
It is.
Is the contact with the head? Well, it's a head clash. It's a head clash that caused it, but it was a shoulder charge that was the penalty.
And after the contact, he bends backwards and ends up doubled over.
Oh dear.
Well, we could hear a lot more about this after this game. Luke Thompson. A little bit of bother, perhaps.
I love the shoulder charges, and I love the heavy, hefty contact. 2 big men, 2 hefty forwards running into each other. But this is 2016, and player welfare is right at the forefront of everybody's thoughts. We've got to protect these players from one another.
Justin Horrow knew what was coming there.
He's got 2 problems though, hasn't he? He's got the head problem, and then he's got a lower body problem, because Alex Walmsley tackles him at the same time, and his legs and knees and ankles are hyperextended, aren't they? The left ankle and left foot. Ben's not the way that it was intended to.
No, he got the double whammy there, and not surprisingly, he's in a lot of trouble.
Saints might win this game tonight, but there might be some fallout for them disciplinary, because Luke Walsh, of course, with that challenge in the first half on young Lucas Albert, we might not have heard the last of that. Naughty Step might well have news of this on Wednesday.
You've got to imagine that Justin Horrow is going to come off the field right now, is he? And be unlikely that he'll go back on. So will that be the 3rd player that they've lost there now to injury?
Yep.
It was placed on report as well by James Child, so they will get a free interchange for this. But it's an interesting dilemma, this tackle, because usually any contact with the head from a shoulder charge will result in some disciplinary action. But the contact with the head was because of a head clash as a result of the shoulder charge, not necessarily a direct consequence of the shoulder charge itself. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah, and a double whammy, as I said, because it's a problem with the left leg, left ankle. He buckled right underneath it. This is the, and you can see there quite openly that Thompson changes, switches the body to get the.
He gets that all wrong, Steve. Oh, it's a right shoulder tackle all day. That he twists his body. He gets a clout for his action. He's been holding his mouth and trying to check whether his jaw's okay.
It's a multiple choice question to see which is his biggest problem at the moment. He's got so many, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I think you can see that the left leg.
Well, what about his head?
With a major one. Well,
Luke Thompson's still out there. Justin Horrow's been carried off the field.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfair, isn't it, when you think about it? They got the penalty.
Catalan with all sorts of problems now. 3 players off the field and not able to return. They are running out of numbers out there. Talking of numbers, Adam Swift on 4 tries. 1 more and he will equal Saints Super League record for tries in a game. Anthony Sullivan and Kevin Iro with that honour at the moment. So Swift with a record, or part of a record, in his sights.
Another problem for the Catalan side is that the hooker Pellissier really has not done much running from the dummy half. We normally see a lot of that, but he's been very quiet tonight.
Tony Gigot is on a short fuse now. He's frustrated. Taylor has lost that ball. Referee says it was released by the Catalan player, not stolen.
Yeah, it was a loose carry by Dave Taylor. And he seems to be losing his rag here. James Child has to be very, very careful. There's quite a few tempers. Imagining temperature. Was it a steal? I don't think so. Maybe he lost it. There's a really problem for Casti.
He felt the full force of Kyle Amor there on his knee.
And he's struggling, his Casti. He can hardly walk. Never mind, ask him to run. There he is, trying to put himself in a position.
Well, I'm not surprised that Athlete Vay's not been on the field, because Morgan Knowles has looked outstanding as like this forward playing out wide here on the left-hand side. Number 28 there, doing a great job, isn't he, so far?
Another part of the Cumbrian connection. There is another part of the Cumbrian connection for St Helens. Kyle Amor.
Drop goal, perhaps? No, into the corner.
Into the corner. Dupont underneath it, and it could be a try, ironically, for Luke Thompson.
I think it might be a knock-on by a Saints player. But
last tackle.
He didn't get a good view of that, James Child.
For a possible knock-on in the air.
So he's gone for no try on the field of play. I think you'll find that there was just a St Helens hand that knocks it forward, but we'll soon see. Stuart?
Well, it's just a C. First of all, is everybody on side on the far side? Difficult to say that they're not, so they're probably okay. We've got a player on the inside of him. If he gets within the 10 metres, number 17. And coming down, well, I think it comes off a St Helens player, but we've also got Luke Thompson, who's inside the 10 metres. So, regardless of that, still checking who it comes off. Well, it comes off a St Helens player and it goes forward. But Luke Thompson's inside the 10 metres. We should restart with a penalty to the Dragons for offside, but I don't think that's being picked up.
Well, I'm with you, Stuart. It's definitely a knock-on. As soon as it leaves the hand of St Helens player, which is Jack Owens, and as soon as it's Dupont, watch, only slide, and then as soon as it hits Dupont, then it must be classified as a knock-on. Difficult.
Not touching, it's a French hand, isn't it?
It looks like it comes off Catalan player. Dupont, yeah, it looks like it comes off Dupont on that. But I'd go back to the previous point that Luke Thompson's within the 10 metres. And therefore, you know, we shouldn't even be looking at this. But that comes off Dupont and goes backwards. And there's Luke Thompson coming into the picture at the bottom there.
Well, it's a difficult one for Ben Thaler.
Well, he's got to be certain. He's got to see sufficient proof to overturn the on-field decision. I think that comes off Vincent Duport.
Therefore, this will be classified as a try if they don't spot the offside.
Well, he's the one that scored it. Oh, we're going back good.
Yeah, Luke Thompson is in front of Walsh. You can see that. Number 17. And does he get anywhere near the 10 metres? And I'd have to say
yes,
he's 8.5. So this should be turned down.
Well, he's trying to see, he's got to have sufficient proof here. And I think that's clear that Thompson, he's got to have both feet behind the ball. And I think you can see from that that he's in front of the kicker.
Now they get the slide rule out. He's slowing down is Luke Thompson. And at the point of impact on the board is 8.5 metres. So therefore it should be turned down. I won't quibble. I'll go for 9 metres, but it's certainly within the 10.
Well, after multiple viewings of that video ref, Ben Thaler has decided that Luke Thompson was offside.
It's a penalty for offside.
And that's a break, the first really they've had in the second half for the Catalan Dragons, but Saints still lead 26-12.
Well, it took so long to make that decision that perhaps it will give the Catalan side a little bit of a breather to get a little bit more oxygen inside the body. So it looks as though with a 14-point lead, you'd think that you're pretty home and safe, but you never know in this game.
They've lost possession the first play. Dave Keller trying to run through the line. He did so, but without the ball.
Touch judges on. Pelissier was up to something there. LMS didn't like it.
We talked about emotion in the first 5 minutes of the game. The worrying word that was used was desperate. Desperate is very different than determined. If Catalan are determined in this match, they focus on what they need to do. Is there a strip? Maybe, maybe not. But what does everybody do? Pelissier runs in.
I think that's pulled out from McCarthy Scarborough.
Watch Pelissier.
Well, the tackle's not complete, though, is it? Nobody's tackled LMS.
Yes, the tackle isn't complete.
Well, he's entitled to tackle him on the ground there. I think Louis took objection to it.
All right, I've already spoken to you about your discipline.
Well,
you need to be very, very careful
thinking
the
about
line that you're treading as a team.
strip, so
Penalty.
Catalan not happy. It could be a penalty to St. Helens, surely.
Well, the penalty's awarded for contact with the head. So he must have made contact with the head on the way down.
He's had a trying night as referee James Child. It hasn't been an easy game to officiate.
Yeah, come on, Dave.
Dragons are losing their cool here.
Yeah, the left arm, the left punch. Straight into the jaws.
Release. Hold.
Scarborough. And again, this is where composure now. St. Helens, they do not want to get sucked into a bit of fight. You could find one of their players being sent off. They won't do their aspiration of making a grand final. It won't help them in that department.
Here's the Welsh international Morgan Knowles now, but he's driven back by the Dragons defenders.
There's going to be a flare-up any minute now, I can feel it.
Wilkin dodging his way across the field. Here's Kyle Amor, and Amor, good footwork from him. Oh, looking for an offload there. Could have been another penalty for Saints. Turner, Knowles, that's a big tackle on him by Greg Muniz.
Was it ever? Ball and all, just spun him around.
Roby might fancy it himself, puts a little grubber kick in. Air kick from Albert, and it's a goal line dropout.
Yeah, nice to put the pressure through. I'm not so sure that Roby anticipated that it would stay in the in-goal area.
Well, they needed a quick restart there. Shoot the ball hard and low for the sideline and try your best you can to get it out of play, but they've wasted probably 10 or 15 seconds. Now St Helens have got it covered. They need the ball. They're going to have to try something a little different here if they want to work a way back into this top 4 by winning here tonight. They need to change the momentum of the match.
Go. It'll be difficult though for the Catalan side, because the experience of the players out there for St Helens, Bill, will certainly know to slow the things down.
Go, 2. It's not one of the biggest gates of the season here at Langtree Park, but it's cracking atmosphere now. It started off a little bit tamely. It's not very tame now. It's pretty wild at times. Is Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. Busquet brings him down. Turner, quick hands. Knowles is again there. Really willing worker, Morgan Knowles.
Get square.
Roby pointing the way. Which will he choose? He's the Saint sat-nav, is James Roby. He sends them up that road. Lomax.
Good work from De Boer there. Lomax were trying to get the ball out wide.
Well, that was a moment of compassion in this game as Walsh goes for 1 point and finds it to put the game even further out of reach of the Catalan Dragons.
I don't think it's real worry. 14 or 15, what's the difference here really? It actually keeps, I think, the Catalan Dragons' chances slightly alive here. We've got 20 minutes to go. They need to score 3 converted tries, which the Dragons on the day are capable of, but they need possession. They need it pretty quick here.
Lively game here. It's a lively game at the Mendehoes Jungle as well. More action. Casbert against Wigan. Ben Pro again.
Thanks very much, Bill. Well, Wigan certainly have not given this one up, and John Bateman has managed to get in for the Warriors over on that right-hand side. It was good play. They shifted the ball to that right-hand side, and Bateman just too strong and sneaks in the corner. 10 points the difference now.
2 moves.
Big nights in the Super 8s. Big result this. Big game. We want your questions at Sky Sports RL. If you want to tweet us a question or 2, and we will answer the best ones after the game.
Go play on, step to the side.
Walsh. Kyle Amor gets the pass away.
Oh, a bit panic. They didn't need to do that.
Referee said that went backwards. Here's Dominic Peyrou. Peyrou, the ball in one hand. He's lost it. Good defence on that occasion from Garcia and Yaha. Muniz comes across and salutes their work.
Well, this has surprised me. I know that they're famous for keeping the ball alive, St Helens. But at 27-12, they just have to. You've got to make sure that they just get it over the advantage line.
Yet more action at Casablanca. Busy night for Ben. Here you go.
That's right, Bill. I said they hadn't given this open. 2 tries in 2 minutes now for the Warriors. John Bateman got their last one. He's turned assist for this one. And Lee Mossop, it will be in a moment that will crash over. 4 points the difference.
Arms around, please.
Here's the run from Bateman. And on his inside is Mossop and goes in under the post. 26 points to 22 now.
Okay, just wait. Ball in. Out.
27-12 here
Away, Greg.
at Langtree Park.
1, move, Laurie. Come on, discipline. Go.
Leeds 16, Hull Kingston Rovers 8. Meanwhile at Headingley Carnegie.
2, move.
Jason Baitieri, first half try score of the Catalan Dragons. When they were going well, they had everybody on the pitch, and a fully fit complement. Fuad Yaha breaking through. Good work from the winger.
If ever there's a guy out there on the Catalan side that can perhaps bring something to the fort, it's a big fella, Yaha, the winger. They've had to work hard at Catalans. Remember, injuries to Broughton and Todd Carney certainly didn't help.
And now Justin Horrow, the second row. Here is Paul Ayton. So Ayton and Pelissier on the last here. Taylor puts a kick in. It's too strong from the big man, but he was chasing it.
It's all biff and barge at the minute. They're making good meters. They're trying to create some chances, but it's not enough. There's no craft. We've talked about Todd Carney not being available. Lucas Albert is very young, very early in his career.
Guys,
Tony Gigot perhaps is the man that needs to step up, impose himself in this game and try and get his side back into it.
More news from the touchline. Here's Angela.
Yeah, Bill, you just listed them, didn't you? Broughton, Carney and Horrow all off the pitch. A few minutes ago, Horrow had his head in his hands. He was in a really bad state with that ankle injury. It seems to see he's twisted his ankle. But it's not a very happy bench, I have to tell you. They think, although it's a free interchange, as Stuart explained why earlier, but from the coaching team, they reckon that they're suffering from it because they didn't think it was a very fair challenge at all on Horrow.
Well, we might hear more of that. Luke Thompson's challenge it was.
Yeah, you're right, Bill, and you know, Luke Thompson. Let's not forget that there's a problem with Luke Walsh that could be looked into by the RFL.
Move! Fight!
But Saints, their focus tonight is on putting some distance between themselves and the Catalan Dragons for that 4th place and securing semi-final rugby league come the end of this season.
They're also building some good habits, and I think one of them here is the ability to concentrate for long periods of the game. Okay, at the moment it looks as though they've got this match won, a 15-point lead with just over 15 minutes to go. But they're not playing as though the scoreboard has any relevance. They're doing exactly what they think they need to do to win the match at this point here. Good control. They've restricted any opportunity for the Dragons. In fact, in this second half, Catalan have not had a single play of the ball in the opposition 20-metre zone. They've had no chance to attack close to it and use the big guys powering over the line.
No, it's not. It's out.
Saints fans thought they'd seen a fumble at the back of the scrum there. More action to come from the qualifiers, Super 8's qualifiers tomorrow, just along the road. The East Lancs, we will be at Lee Sports Village for the Centurions against the Red Devils. 2:55 tomorrow's Sky Sports 4 for that one. Penalty for a high tackle on Vincent Dupont by James Roby. Saints looking to maintain the only 100% playoff appearance record with that top 4 finish, and this win, if it is to be a win now, will go a long way to doing that. Dragons really the only team that can realistically ruin that record, and they're going to have to come up with something pretty special in the last 15 minutes to do that. Here is Muniz. And Catalan advancing, as Phil said. They haven't done much of that in the second half, but they do now with Bousquet. More good luck than judgment.
Spun around. How on earth did he take that ball? That's going to be a penalty. Well, could there be a change in the atmosphere of this game?
Goal line.
Catalan sneak over for a try.
Penalty within sight of that Saints try line for the Catalan Dragons.
Felicia, dummy half, go on your own. He's done very little of that.
Felicia, though, serves it up. Short range from Bousquet, but Saints up to the challenge.
Let him play it. Let him
Boy,
play
Roby and Lomax, how on earth did they stop the big fella?
Pelissier will try it, but he is short.
Let him play, James. Go, great.
By Thierry for Glenn Stewart. Stewart onto Muniz. Muniz out of the back of the hand to Benjamin Garcia. Hasn't hit the heights he was at when he left the club to go to the NRL. Benjamin Garcia, since his return, they could do with that tonight. Gigot, they could do with something from him.
James, move.
It's Casti, still out there working hard for his team. On the last, the ball onto Taylor. Taylor gets the pass away, and Dupont will get the try for the Catalan Dragons. They are still alive in this game. Vince Dupont finishing in the corner. His 7th try of this Super League season, and Catalan aren't going to go away without a real fight here.
I'll take the mark if you want.
Well, this is the messing around, and gave him the opportunity, got the penalty. And isn't it amazing? Dave Taylor is working out on that left-hand side as a centre, and he's created that pass to Dupont. And it's nervous time for the Saints players, the coaches, and of course the fans. They looked out on their feet, but the French outfit have struck back.
Well, Phil, you told us about the play the balls in the 10-metre area, or the lack of them from the Catalan Dragons, as we see the attempted conversion from Lucas Albert. 4 points doesn't become 6, but the Catalan Dragons have just proved that if they get in the right part of the pitch, that Biff and Bass will pay dividends.
And they want to bash here now, won't they? All the way down the pitch to get back there again, Barry, because, as you've said, there's a nervous St Helens team in there walking back.
Time off.
You see the latest score there, an exciting game at Headingley, 16-14 to the Rhinos.
Laurent Fraser down on the sideline.
Stay behind.
Kieran Cunningham concerned up on high. This game isn't in the bag yet. Catalan with this great record against St Helens. They've beaten them twice already this season. And it's with Jason Baitieri. Plays the ball. Oh, but that's exactly what they didn't need. And Gigo is furious.
He's every right to be as well. It was a shocking pass. Just when the tempo had turned their way. Opportunity there. And that was shocking from the hooker, Pellissier.
That is terrible, because I know what's going to happen now. Poor Eloi Pellissier will feel the wrath of his chairman, Bernard Gouache, as he has done earlier this season. Remember that challenge on Kurt Gidley when Jody Broughton was away for a win at Warrington.
Second row, tight together.
And the chairman reacted furiously to that. It doesn't take an awful lot. He's got a very short fuse as the Catalan Dragons chairman.
He certainly has, and but you know, for a full professional like that, Pellissier, that really was an awful attempt at a pass.
A short fuse and a meat cleaver. Bernard Gouache.
Wait!
Suggestion he's going for the chop or what?
Here is Alex Walmsley now. Saints looking to put this game to bed.
Swinging arm there. Walmsley didn't like it either.
Lomax fancies one himself. He's over the line, but he's just short, in fact.
Tremendous defence, though, by the Catalan players.
Stand up.
Muniz trying to extricate himself from that tackle there. Right on the line. Atelier is out there, finally, for St Helens.
Surrender!
Greg Richards, likewise.
I'll be looking for another drop goal. Just to ease things down.
They might go for a more lucrative option here. Roby dodging and weaving.
Walsh wants it, does he?
And Walsh is there to play the ball. Wilkin with the kick. He didn't like that challenge. I think it was Jason Baitieri.
Well, I think it came at the same time as he was getting booed to ball.
Move. Wait, come on, John. Wait.
John Wilkin having to put the kick in. Remember his reaction at Warrington last week when he put a kick in and he wasn't impressed, having been presented with the ball. More action at Castleford. Ben once again.
Yeah, well, Bill, it's Castleford who are in again. It's the man who was on a season-long loan from Wigan, Ryan Hampshire, who goes in the corner. Wigan, remember, 3 from 3, 2 in Super League, 1 in the Challenge Cup as well. But Castleford have got the revenge in the Super 8s, it seems. 32 points to 22.
Meanwhile, Gigo tried a 40-20. Lomax just managed to deny him. Gigo was then taken out by the referee.
What worked from Lomax? He had to get that ball back into the field of play. Then he had to get himself back into the field of play, and he returns the ball with interest.
Catalan trying everything.
Oh, tremendous effort there by the fullback. Talk about second effort, never giving in. It's taken him a while to get into the swing of things after many injuries that have held him back. Back to true form now is Johnny Lomax, and this is where they've got to use the composure. Walsh is putting the kick into the corner. That's a great chance.
Walsh with the kick. Jack Owens with the try that surely settles the issue here. Owens with his third try of this Super League campaign. The Saints are all smiles. They've had to work hard for this win that now is surely in the bag. And Catalan dejectedly troop back towards their own try line. Jack Owens, who's had his troubles this season, taken out of the firing line by his coach Kieran Cunningham when the pressure was really on the side in the middle of the season, but he's come back a stronger player.
Well, it was a wonderful kick and an attempt to the 40-20, but look at this. Talk about the second effort, and then not only that, he gets himself back into a position. This is a beautiful kick from Walsh. Bounces up nicely. And Owens in for a great try. And that, you're right, Bill, this should do it. Take the opportunity. Owens said, well, my mate on the other wing has had a good night. but at least I've bagged one try at least. Tremendous effort.
Had a big game against Warrington last week. Jack Owens, the former Widnes man, and he was there to finish off that very delicate kick from Luke Walsh.
You could directly say that Johnny Lomax's actions were worth at least 8 points, because I think that the Dragons would have scored from that 4-20. We've seen how good they are when they get close to opponent's line there. He's saved 4 points at least from the Dragons, and he's helped them by turning that game around with the assistance of Luke Walsh and Jack Owens to put 4 more on the scoreboard for his side. I'm just hoping here now, as the clock winds down, that Luke Walsh take it up to 33, which is a similar score to when St Helens lost in Catalans in June. It was probably the lowest point. It was lowest point, wasn't it, when the Catalan Dragons beat St Helens mid-June in Perpignan.
16:33 in June the 11th it was. And Walsh achieves that scoreline with those 2 points from the sideline, and Saints look good for a top 4 finish.
Well, this is a pressure-relieving try, but the impressive aspect of this try is Luke Walsh's kick and his game management. You know, coaches will often throw scenarios to teams and players and say, let's play the game like there's 10 minutes to go, there's 15 minutes to go, you're in front or behind, and you see how your players will handle that. Well, for the last 10 minutes, Saints haven't been good. They've just got that little bit better.
One, move. Here we are, Glenn. Wait.
Back to the Menderhose jungle. More action, more tries from the Castleford Tigers. Ben.
Yeah, full time here, Bill, and Castleford have struck again with the last play of the game. Oliver Holmes goes in, and Castleford win this one, 36 points to 22. Wigan missed the chance to go level with Hull at the top of the Super 8. Final score from the Menderhose jungle, 36-22.
Final score at Headingley Carnegie, 22-18 to the Leeds Rhinos in that qualifiers middle eights game. Swift, 4 tries to his name, 3 of them in the first half. So Saints have avenged 2 defeats earlier this season. The crowd not liking that tackle from Paul Ayton, then the hands in, and there's a penalty to St Helens. Dejected Catalan side, but it's been a rough night for them.
Yeah, it certainly has, and silly play there, trying to lift it up. They know that the game is completely gone.
They've actually only given 2 more penalties away than their opposition.
Come on,
it's 11-13, but those penalties have been crucial, and they've backed them up, and they've failed to deal with what Saints have thrown at them after those penalties.
Saints supporters will now be thinking about another Old Trafford visit.
Move, Jason. Come on.
They could be looking at a record-extending 11th visit to the Theatre of Dreams. Catalans' hopes of this season, this 10th anniversary season, being marked by their first ever appearance. Well, those hopes look gone now. Lomax outstanding tonight. Jordan Thompson is tackled. Weary looking side, but still battling to the last, the Dragons. Gigot organising his troops, but they're running out of them. Greenwood heading for the corner, and a try. Joe Greenwood, he's earned that tonight on his 99th career appearance. He was the joint scorer with Adam Swift going into this game. He's closed the gap a bit. That's his 11th of the season. Lauren Fraser can only think about what might have been for his side here tonight.
Yeah, I think conceding the try in the final seconds in the first half certainly rocked them. It allowed Saints to go into the half-time by 16 points to 12. But this is all about sheer upper body strength. Throws the dummy, get out of the way, pushing and driving with the legs, and fully deserved that. He's been in superb form. Is hard to handle, is hard to stop, and he's just proven that.
Well, St Helens are a remarkable club as we see Joe Greenwood again go over to score this try. They've been strong on the left, dangerous on the right. They do look like a good team. I remember at the Magic weekend when Eddie Hemming said to me, listen, even though Saints had lost heavily to Huddersfield, I think by almost 30 points on that occasion, he said, listen, Phil, never write off the Saints. And boy, was he right. They are a remarkable organisation who so often manage to find a way out of a hole and manage to find the way back to Old Trafford.
Well, they got into the swing of things, Phil, mainly due to pretty good work by the forwards such as Joe Greenwood, the experience of the loose forward John Wilkin, of course, and you know, Greg Richards, who really has come to the fore this season. So Richard, Roby and Walmsley, and then off the bench you look at the likes of Kyle Amor. It's been an impressive performance, one that I'm sure that will please the coach Kieran Cunningham.
Luke Walsh with 5 from 5 with the boot tonight. Can he maintain that with this conversion of that try from Greenwood? It's on its way, it's on target. And target Old Trafford now for the Saints. They've had their problems this season. 1 point, the playoffs looked a very distant prospect after that defeat in Perpignan. But my, how they have turned things around. We're building into something good, says Kieran Cunningham. And John Wilkin will be joining John Wells at full time at the touchscreen to talk about that. And Catalan Dragons, their hopes of going all the way, which looked so strong when Saints were going through their problems. Catalan were flying high. How things have turned around for these two clubs.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's all about getting back to basics. Early in the season, the Saints, as you say, Bill, all over the shop. It's a little bit disjointed, didn't get the half-back combination working, and it's so important. And they've got a huge pack, but my memory goes back to the fact that Kieran Cunningham, he really had to give them a little bit kick up the backside. And the best way to do that, remember, he put James Roby on the bench. Unthinkable to think that James Roby would start the game sat on the bench. And I think that that was the turning point where they said he wanted to prove that they had to work harder. And boy, have they done that.
Just kicking for a bit of territory. And Luke Walsh, sin-binned earlier in this game, has directed operations when he's been on the pitch.
Well, at times this season, earlier in the year, St Helens' attack to me looked predictable and at times pedestrian. But they've totally turned that around and their attack looks very, very good, complemented by wonderful defence. I'll be fascinated whether John Wells, in the post-match chat that he has with John Wilkin, can identify a match or a week in this year when something changed internally in training, whether it was an attitude or whether it was a tactical decision to try something different, really. The attack has radically improved, I think, in the second half of the season.
Yeah, you're right, Phil, and I accredit that to the fact that, you know, Jordan Turner, sometimes he was playing standoff, sometimes in the centre, but boy, in the latter part of this season, Jordan Turner has been outstanding. Not surprising that he's on his way down under next season.
Catalan Dragons looking to finish with some defiance. Ben Garcia tackled by Tellier. But those injuries to key players have really hampered the Dragons here tonight.
Yeah, it means that they've had to work overtime as the players out there, but it really has been an error-strewn second half.
Catalan went into this game having won 5 in a row against St Helens, including those home and away wins this season. Saints knew the nature of the threat they faced. They've stood up against it, and Laurent Fressineau and Jérôme Guisset alongside him. Michael Monaghan just on the far side as well there. Will head home after this to lick their wounds about what might have been this season.
Come on, last 30 seconds.
And you look at this playing roster they've got, and it's a mystery, isn't it? It could have been so much more.
Yeah, they just seem to lose their mojo, as they call it. It looked dead certain that they were going to make the top 4. And have the
Saints were going to miss out.
Yeah, and have the opportunity, but it just shows that in any sport, things can change. McCarthy Scarsbrook is taking it all the way to Wigan by the looks of it. No, he's gone over. Good win by Saints.
And what a night for Adam Swift. 4 tries for him. And those Saints supporters saluting a magnificent effort from their side. Joe Greenwood among the try scorers as well. Saints cuts the Catalan Dragons adrift from the top four. And St Helens, they certainly did win. And those Saints supporters, our friend Carl among them, will be delighted with that. Sure, he'll be in action at Salford tomorrow. Salford against Lee Centurions in the qualifiers. But as far as the top four goes now, this is a massive win for St Helens, and at the same time they have ended the Catalan Dragons' dominance of them in emphatic fashion. And John Wilkin and his teammates will have a well-deserved break. More action to come, of course, in the qualifiers, but what a battle we've got left in the top four. Wigan going down against the Castleford Tigers, and Saints looking towards another visit to Old Trafford, a dream that is alive. And what a night it has been for one particular player, Adam Swift. He's with Angela, and a bottle of champagne. There might be a link.
He certainly is with me. I suppose when you score 4 tries, you've got to get the champagne. Well done. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, nice one. It was a big win for us. They've done one over us on the last 2 times, so it was good to get the win tonight.
Did you feel comfortable once you'd scored that one in the second half that you thought, this is it, it's in the bag now?
I think we didn't start as well as we should have done. Our completion in the first half wasn't as good as we wanted to. I think we've shown in the second half we come out completed at a high percentage, and we ended up running away with the game.
At half-time, I spoke to one of your coaches, and they said it was about patience, not forcing it, and you took those words to heart. Yeah,
like I've just said, I think it's about completing our sets and kicking our way and walking to scrums, giving the big lads a breather, and that's what we did tonight. Really important win this. You really keep them underneath you in that table, and that's what you needed. Yeah, as I say, it was a big win for us. You know, we've got that little margin now. We're a couple of points adrift from them now, so hopefully we can maintain our form. Well done again. Thank you so much. Cheers. We've got the coach, Kieran Cunningham, here. Kieran, I just mentioned to Adam there that you said at half-time, let's just be patient. We can get them with this if we're just patient, and you did that.
We sort of had the cart in front of the horse in the first half. You know, we tried to play a little bit of rugby when we didn't earn the right to play rugby, and then that leads to forcing the issue. We put a lot of ball down, and you know, you sort of end up on the wrong side of things. I knew what we could have done to the Catalan side if we completed, and we did that in the second half. There was a moment, wasn't there, where I think it was the attempted 40-20 and Lomax kept it in. Kind of a game killer off, wasn't it, really? Because you had possession back then. Oh, I don't think we ever felt comfortable in the game until, you know, I took James Roby off with 6 minutes to go, and you know, that's when I was comfortable. I just thought, even when you get 11, 13 points in front, and you know, Johnny came up with some massive plays tonight. Defensively, he was great, and attacking, he was very good. But that was probably the play of the night, and you know, the pendulum swung a little bit for us. That's great. Thank you very much, Kieran. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
An extremely satisfied Kieran Cunningham has witnessed his side record their 7th successive victory. They led 16 points to 12 at half-time. The game, John Wells, was within the reach of the Catalan Dragons. At what point in the second half do you felt it slipped away from them?
Well, ironically, we start right at the end, the final seconds of the first half for the answer to that, Brian. Big teams playing in big games, there'll inevitably be key moments when they either get things right or get things wrong. And I think certainly in the case of St Helens this evening, in completing that 7-timer, and in particular the clinical finishing of Adam Swift, which we've already seen, but also the involvements of Jordan Turner. He sees, before Carney left the field with an injury, that he was struggling and trying to hide away on the wing. Sees that, and you can tell with the speed with which he puts this on the boot from when he gets it, he was always going to kick this. This took some finishing as well, by the way. Lovely step back on the inside by Swift. So, bang on the stroke of half-time, which changed the complexion of both half-time chats nonetheless. And then something that I'm going to pick up with John Wilkin when I get the chance to talk to him later. Very evident in their game plan. They were turning that ball back inside consistently all game and getting great rewards because they were recruiting then a number of Catalan players that they would not have recruited had those balls not gone by. One more thing of note, Morgan Knowles, I think he's growing in stature with every game. Lovely cut-out pass, and then we get a final look with a nice little angle at the end to show a great finish by Adam Swift. So Key players, Swift, Turner, Walsh, I thought stood up, but key moments in these big games, and they will become more and more significant as the weeks go on.
Key players with key moments at the key part of the season. St. Helens moved to within 2 points of second place in the Super League table. Okay, we've got a short break coming up. After that, we'll bring you the tries from Leeds qualifiers win over Hull Kingston Rovers. And at the touchscreen with John Wells, we'll have John Wilkin. He's been an ever-present this year for St. Helens. Wonder what he makes of this remarkable run that they're on right now. He'll be up after a very short break.